Heart attack is very common in India. According to some reports, there are 10 million cases every year. To talk about this lifestyle disease and how we can prevent ourselves from it, today I have with me a veteran cardiologist from Allahabad and the owner of Gupta Polyclinic, Dr. V.K. Gupta. Dr. Gupta, welcome to Monday Talk interview series of mine.
Thank you.
My first question is, in a layman's language, what exactly a heart attack is?
A layman thinks that a heart attack means that his heart has stopped working. This is not a fact. In medical terminology, when we refer to heart attack, we say that the patient is having myocardial infarction. Now, what is myocardial infarction in medical terminology? Medically, the heart is a muscular structure and it has blood supply from three main blood vessels which supply nutrients and oxygen to the heart. If one of these arteries or even two or even three of these arteries get blocked, the blood supply and the delivery of nutrients and oxygen to those portion of the heart muscles to which these blood vessels are supplying, it gets hampered. Once the blood supply is either reduced or totally blocked, that area of the heart muscles become weak or at sometimes stop completely working. Once this happens, the patient has pain, sweating, vertigo and very many other things. So, this is exactly the meaning of myocardial infarction, that a certain portion of the heart muscles are not getting blood supply. Once this happens, if a timely action is taken to either to open these or by various methods with the help of medications, with the help of stenting or even bypass surgery, these muscles can be revived and they come back to normal activity. In some cases, the blockage is of such type, or if delayed treatment is done, these muscles start dying. Once after the death of this, they lose their contractibility power and there comes fibrous tissue. This fibrous tissue does not contract and the heart in that particular portion becomes weak. So, this is exactly myocardial infarction, which a patient thinks that his heart is not working at all after heart attack.
Okay. So, my second question is, what is the difference between heart attack and cardiac arrest?
Yes.
Because many people get confused.
Yes. In cardiac arrest, the heart stops abruptly because of very many reasons, and if we are not able to revive the working of heart within 1 to 1.5 minutes, then it results in death of the patient. However, in heart attack, as I have already told earlier, the heart does not stop working. Only certain portion of the heart where the blood supply has been hampered, that portion is not working or working poorly, but the heart continues to pump blood. Of course, it may be not pumping out 100% blood, it may be reduced to 60%, 70%, 40%, that may be the factor, but the heart is depends upon the area of the muscles that are involved. The person concerned, he can be always be revived if proper medical treatment is given.
Okay. My third question, what is the common cause of heart attack?
The most common cause of heart attack is blockage of the blood vessels. When we refer to blood vessels, there are two types of blood vessels, arteries and veins. Arteries are blood vessels that carry blood from the heart to various organs, and veins are blood vessels which carry blood from the organs to the heart, back to the heart for oxygenation. So this is the difference. When we say the blockage of the blood vessel, we always mean blockage of the arteries. As I have already told, there are three main arteries supplying blood to the heart. Number one. Second thing is, the heart attack usually does not, these vessels are usually not blocked abruptly. Most of the times the blood vessels of the heart, I mean to say the arteries, they are diseased because of various diseases, and there occurs a plaque formation inside the blood vessel, and the blood vessel is narrowed. Now, if because of the increased density of the blood or because of any reason, the clot formation and blockage of the heart and the may happen at this place. Simultaneously, the plaque ruptures. When it ruptures, it also further narrows down the blood vessel.
So does the present lifestyle also increases the cases of heart attack, the way we are living?
Oh yes, very much. Heart attacks do not occur spontaneously. Heart attacks are always due to a large number of risk factors, and the main risk factors are diabetes, high blood pressure, altered cholesterol, and which we refer to as dyslipidemia, then your cigarette smoking, then obesity is a very big risk factor, then alcoholism, cigarette smoking, tension, stressful life. They are all risk factors for the heart attack. Once there is diabetes, because of diabetes, the sugar level is increased in diabetes. What happens? On one side the sugar level is, on the other side the cells are starving, because either there is deficiency of insulin, or the insulin is not working properly, which we call it as insulin resistance. Similarly, if we take precaution and control the diabetes, the problem of nutrition to the cells is improved. Second thing, diabetes, what happens? It causes damage to the inner portion of the blood vessel, which we call as at intima. This intima is damaged, and simultaneously diabetes causes narrowing of the blood vessels. Once there is narrowing of the blood vessels, the blood supply to the target organ is reduced. Exactly. Number one. In high blood pressure, what happens? Once the pressure increases, the message goes to the brain that the blood pressure is higher. The brain thinks that there is a chance that the blood vessels may rupture. So it sends back the message that increase the thickness of the walls of the blood vessel, so that they may not rupture. After all, if they think the wall of any vessel is thin, it is more likely to break more easily, and if it is thick, then it is less likely. Likewise, so the brain sends back the message, increase the thickness of the blood vessel. Now how does the thickness is increased? It is increased by depositing cholesterol. What happens? On one side the cholesterol is being deposited, the lumen is narrowed. Once the lumen is narrow, the pressure will rise further. And simultaneously, because the blood vessel has a thicker wall now, though the elasticity of the blood vessel is also reduced. So the pressure keeps on rising. So you need to control the blood pressure with medication, with lifestyle modifications, with decreased salt intake.
That is what I am coming to. My next question is, which the viewers must, they are interested to know, that how we can prevent it. Most of the people want to know how to prevent heart attack.
I have already narrated the number of risk factors. Control diabetes. By controlling diabetes, we have three things. Number one, diet, regulation, exercises, and number three, medications. Likewise, control high blood pressure. How you can control blood pressure? Number one is medication. Number two, reduce intake of salt, reduce stress. Number three, I have talked about dyslipidemia, that is a disorder in cholesterol. Here comes, when it comes to cholesterol, decrease the intake of fats. Here there is another thing. We have, once it comes to fat, we must know what are the types of fat and which are good fats and which are bad fats. There are two types of fat. Number one is saturated fats, and number two, they are unsaturated. What are saturated fats? Saturated fats are those fats which solidify at reduced temperature. The unsaturated fats, they remain liquid at any temperature, at all temperatures. Number two, the unsaturated fats are again of two types. Number one is monounsaturated fat, and number two is polyunsaturated fats. What is the difference between monounsaturated fats and how do we know which is saturated fat, which is monounsaturated? There is a double bond between carbon atoms in fatty acids in monounsaturated fat, single double bond. The saturated fats, they do have no double bonds. The polyunsaturated fats, they have two or more than two double bonds between carbon atoms. This is the chemical differentiation. So far, I have already said that the saturated fats, they solidify at lower temperatures. Desi ghee, dalda, this coconut. Majority of the sources of saturated fats are animal. Only coconut oil is saturated fat. It also solidifies at lower temperatures.
So what kind of fat we should take? I will also ask you what is trans fat. But before that, tell me what kind of fat people can take.
Yes. What we need is 1/3 of each. Saturated fat should be 33%. The monounsaturated fat should be 33%, and the polyunsaturated fats should be. One thing I would also like to tell you, fats which have a low boiling point, they are relatively safer, and fats which have higher the boiling point, they are more risky.
So which fats comes in low?
That is why olive oil is the fat which boils at 80 to 81 degrees centigrade. So it is one of the safest, and it is a monounsaturated fat. Regarding the increase in advantages and disadvantages of low fats which are boiling at low temperature and which are boiling at higher temperature. the advantage of low fats which are boiling at lower temperature is that they are relatively safe to our heart and our various organs of the body.
So what is
But-
desi ghee?
Yes, I am coming to it. But the disadvantage is that it evaporates very fast. So once you are cooking, the amount of fat requirement is increased. Once while cooking, the moment the temperature comes to 80, 81, that most of the oil is being evaporated. Once it is evaporated, there will be shortage of once you are cooking puris and things like that, the quantum of requirement of the oil is increased. So what they have done, tried to do it, they hydrolyze the monounsaturated fats, and by hydrolyzing the fat, they try to increase the temperature, boiling temperature, from 80 degrees to the or 90 degrees to the 100, 120 degrees. The advantage, what they get, especially this vanaspati, that is it is called as trans fat, because you have transformed the fat from a normal fat to you have transformed by hydrolyzing it. You have raised the temperature, boiling temperature of that. Once the boiling temperature, the advantage they get, that supposing in 1 kg of olive oil or any other, you are able to cook 40 puris. They will in that very quantity, because the temperature is boiling temperature is very high. So they will be cooking around 80 or 100 puris in that quantity of it. So far as desi ghee is concerned, desi ghee is a saturated fat, and the boiling temperature of desi ghee is around 90 to 100 degrees centigrade. So as I have already said, our body requires all the fats, saturated fat, the monounsaturated fat, and the sunflower oil, safflower oil. They are all polyunsaturated. Mustard oil, olive oil, groundnut oil, they are monounsaturated fats. All the desi ghee and cow ghee and buffalo ghee and pork, Western country they are using non-vegetarian sources of so they are all saturated fats.
So we should avoid saturated and we should go for
We should actually we should have 1/3 of each.
So can you just said that vanaspati is trans fat.
Yes.
Trans fat.
That is why vanaspati is being banned in most of the countries.
So can you tell us something more about the trans fats?
I have already said that because trans fats are have a very high boiling point, and because they have a high boiling point, the higher the boiling point, the more injurious to our body it is.
So there is a strict no to trans fat.
So they should be avoided as far as possible.
Okay. So what kind of exercises one should do which can prevent heart attack?
There are several types of exercises, but the best are the aerobic exercises. Once we what we mean by aerobic exercises is that exercises which we are doing in open air, walking, running, cycling, swimming, all these are jogging, all these are aerobic exercises, and we must do at least 30 minutes of exercises per day for at least 5 days in a week. At least 150 minutes per week of exercise is required. Moreover, it also depends on your physique. If you are obese, you need to do more exercise. After all, every obese person has to look into two aspects. Number one is the calorie intake and the calorie burnout. If the calorie intake is more, calorie burnout is less, he is not going to lose weight. If calorie intake is less, calorie burnout is more, definitely he is going to lose weight. Another thing I would like to tell, it is slightly deviated from heart problem. Of course, it does include the heart problem. Obesity is the biggest culprit among all metabolic disorders. When I say metabolic disorders, I say there is diseases which affect the metabolism. What is metabolism? Making and breaking processes which are taking in our body, that is metabolism. So this is obesity is the biggest metabolic disorder. A person having obesity, he is more likely to have diabetes, he is more likely to have high blood pressure, he is more likely to have dyslipidemia, he is more likely to have kidney disorders, he is more likely to have gastrointestinal disorders, he is more likely to have stroke and brain problems, he is more likely to have thyroid disorders and many more diseases. So obesity is the biggest culprit. If we focus our attention on obesity, then we may be able to control very many problems.
My next question. What are the indicators one gets before he's about to, before he's about to get heart attack? What are the symptoms or indications the body gives you that you are about to get a heart attack?
Yes. There are number of problems which a person, if he is cautious, then he can always take medical help and his problem will be diagnosed at an early stage and the disease can be prevented from progressing. The first thing is people having heart attack later on will have chest pain while doing any exertional work, while walking, while running, while cycling, while climbing stairs, number one. Number two, he may have a slight choking sensation in the throat. He may have, once he is doing the exercises like running, walking, climbing stairs, etc., then he may have pain over the shoulders, either the left or the more commonly the left. The pain may be radiate even to the arms. The pain may radiate to the upper part of the abdomen. This person may have breathlessness on exertion. This patient may have sweating while exertion. With even a small amount of work, he may sweat. So these could be the
even I am sweating a lot.
it could be because the current temperature and the humidity, but otherwise such a person who is having all these problems, if he takes notice and consults a doctor and the doctor gets him investigated properly, then the chances of progressing to a heart attack and the process can be reversed.
So that brings to my last two questions. First, are the heart patients more at risk from corona?
It is both ways. After all, if the person has a good immunity, the corona is either not going to have him, or that patient may be asymptomatic, still having corona, but he may be asymptomatic.
Exactly.
or he may be having a mild disease. If a person is having heart problem, he is also likely to have problem in other organs of the body, like the kidney, like the liver and thyroid and other organs. Such a person is more likely to be infected because even with corona. Likewise, if a person may not be having, But a person is having a severe form of corona, it can involve all organs of the body, including the heart.
Okay.
Besides, the kidneys are can be affected. The lungs are the key organs which the corona affects. The liver may be affected. Even the intestines could be affected. Patient may be having loose motions.
So now my last question,
Huh.
which most of the people don't know or they are misguided. What is the cost for the treatment of heart attack?
So far is the cost, there are two factors. Number one is whether the patient is taking treatment from a government hospital or from a private setup. Again, in the private setup, what kind of facilities he chooses to have. Naturally, you are, like hotels, you can have a book a hotel for 500, you can book a hotel for 4,000, you can book a 40,000 and even 4 lakhs. Likewise, the type of facilities you choose, the cost varies. Number two, the cost is also dependent upon the what is the stage of the disease. After all, one vessel is blocked, two vessels are blocked, or all three vessels are blocked. Whether the patient chooses to have only medical treatment, it is the cheapest. Whether he chooses to get angioplasty, also called as stenting. Number three, whether he wants to have a bypass surgery. So the price factor. Next thing, whether the patient is having simple myocardial infarction or he is having associated problems of myocardial infarction. There is a disturbance of rhythm, which is referred to as arrhythmia. There is a problem with the rate is variable. Extra beats are coming, which we refer to as ectopics. So multiple things are taken into consideration. So the costs are variable depending upon the type of setup from you are taking up. What is the type of treatment you are opting for? Medical treatment, angioplasty, bypass surgery.
This brings us to the end of our interview. Despite having such a busy schedule, you took out time for me. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.